What is up, guys? It's Jason High back here with another video reacting to the Kansas City Chiefs and their first round pick in the 2024 NFL Draft. The Chiefs actually traded up from pick number 32 to pick number 28 with the Buffalo Bills to select Texas wide receiver Xavier Worthy. Xavier Worthy is a guy the Chiefs have been connected to for a long time. Ever since he first ran that fastest all-time 40-yard dash of 4.2140 that he ran at the NFL Combine back in February, people have been connecting him to the Chiefs. They've been talking about this guy as someone that the Chiefs might look to go out there and get to improve their wide receiver core. The Chiefs, ever since they've traded Tyreek Hill away 2 years ago, obviously it's worked out tremendously with their success and their win-loss record on the field. The Chiefs have won the last 2 Super Bowls. However, the Chiefs really have been missing that deep threat, that speed threat in their offense the last couple of seasons. Last season, the wide receivers really got a lot of flack throughout the year. Marquez Valdes-Scantling, Justin Watson at times, Justin Ross. It really is Sky Moore. It really seemed like outside of Rashee Rice last year, and then going back 2 years to Juju Smith-Schuster, it really seems like the Chiefs have been missing that presence at wide receiver. Rashee Rice really emerged last year as a second-round pick. Obviously, he's got some legal situation going on now, and we'll see, how many games he gets suspended for this year. It's very likely he's going to miss some time. The Chiefs did sign Marquise Hollywood Brown, in the offseason. To add to their receiving core. So they have been working diligently this offseason to try to improve that receiving core, and I really feel like a lot of people thought that them going wide receiver in the draft was going to kind of be the icing on the cake for them and really the last big move of the offseason. So, yeah, this was a wild draft. It was really fun to watch that first half of the first round. There were 6 quarterbacks that went in the top 12 picks. I'm deviating away from the Chiefs just for a second here, but wow, that was just really unprecedented to see that. The one that really shocked everyone was the Atlanta Falcons at number 8, taking Michael Penix Jr. out of Washington, the Heisman Trophy finalist, who is a great ball player. He's had some injury problems, but he's a really good-looking quarterback prospect, but kind of has some injury history. Isn't as much of a prospect as Caleb Williams or Drake May or Jaden Daniels, and those 3 went with the first 3 picks, with Williams, Daniels, and then May in that order. But the Falcons, it really seemed like, because they signed Kirk Cousins in the offseason to that $100 million guaranteed contract, it was really a shocking move to see that happen. And then, the next one that was really surprising was the Broncos go ahead and selecting Bo Nix with the 12th overall pick. So that's an AFC West team the Chiefs are going to have to contend with Bo Nix there. Sean Payton found himself a quarterback, and we'll see how that works out for them. But, yeah, back to the Chiefs here. I mean, just the way that the wide receivers kind of fell out in this board and kind of just, that position played out. There was never really that really big run on wide receivers that you kind of were expecting to happen. You saw Marvin Harrison Jr. go number 4 to the Cardinals. You saw Malik Neighbors go after that. You saw Roma Dunze go to the Bears at number 9. And then you saw Thomas, the LSU receiver, the other LSU receiver, went later in the late first round. So the Chiefs actually ended up getting, unless I'm missing someone, they ended up getting, I believe, the 5th wide receiver taken off the board. So that's a pretty big win, I would say, for the Chiefs. Now, it's interesting that the Chiefs felt like they needed to trade up from 32 to 28 with the Buffalo Bills to select him. Maybe that implies that they didn't think he was going to be there if they waited until 32. Maybe that means they thought the Ravens might take him, or the Cowboys. The Cowboys picked right after, and they ended up taking Tyler Guyton, the offensive tackle out of Oklahoma. That was another guy that the Chiefs were kind of linked to and might have been a potential piece. I was thinking really that wide receiver was the position to go with. I wouldn't have been mad if they had selected an offensive tackle, but I just feel like Because Donovan Smith, last season's left tackle for the Chiefs, is still out there and still is a free agent, because he is still available, I do think the Chiefs are going to go ahead and re-sign him now at the draft once it's completed. I think you're going to see Donovan Smith back in Kansas City. I think that just makes too much sense. You know, he was serviceable there last year. He went unsigned late last offseason until June is when the Chiefs finally signed him. And then this offseason, here it is, the draft has started, and he still doesn't have a home. So I think he's going to come back on a very reasonable contract. And then you obviously have Jawan Taylor on the right side, who did have penalty issues early last season, but he is making $20 million a year. He is signed to a big contract for 3 more years. Chiefs are not giving up on him after 1 season. They're not able to do that really for another 2 seasons. In terms of the salary cap hit and their contract structures. But, yeah, you've got Wanya Morris at the left tackle position there. He played okay for 4 games last year when Donovan Smith missed time. And I feel like you're going to have those 2 guys again at left tackle, and I think the Chiefs hope to see Wanya Morris take a step forward. But we will have to see how the rest of the draft plays out. The Chiefs did trade as part of this compensation. They traded. Obviously, they went from 32 to 28, so they swapped that pick with the Bills. But then, obviously, since the Bills had to go back in the draft, the Chiefs had to give up more later in the draft to even that out. So they ended up actually going from pick 95 in the 3rd round. They were the second to last pick of the 3rd round to pick 133 in the 4th round. And then they swapped 7th round picks with the Bills this year. So you have to give up something if you want to trade up in the draft. You're not just going to find a team, especially a team like the Buffalo Bills, who I'm quite frankly surprised is even willing to trade with the Chiefs at this point. For those of you that don't remember, the Bills are the team that was picking number 10 overall in 2017 that the Chiefs traded up for a guy named Patrick Mahomes back in 2017. The Bills did get Josh Allen in the next year's draft, so I feel like a lot of Bills fans, that probably eased the sting for them just a little bit. But I think that probably still keeps some Bills fans up at night. And so, yeah, I'm a little surprised they traded with the Bills. But, hey, I give the Bills credit. I think it was a good move for them. I think that they moved back 4 spots. They may have gotten the guy at 32 that they wanted. I don't know. That pick hasn't been made yet as of the making of this video. We'll see here in a few minutes. But it makes sense for the Bills. You get to move up about 40 spots from the 4th round up into the late 3rd round later in the draft on day 2. So that's good for them. But I think for the Chiefs, like I said, I'm a little surprised they traded up for Xavier Worthy. A lot of people were mocking Xavier Worthy to the Chiefs at 32. You didn't really necessarily know if he was a guy you were going to have to trade up for. But here's the thing. I give the Chiefs credit for going after their guy. If they think Xavier Worthy is the guy, they identified him as a guy they like. What did I say about the Bears a couple months ago in terms of who they should take number 1 overall? If you think Caleb Williams is the guy, you go get your guy. You don't overthink it too much. You don't worry too much about trading from 95 to 144, I believe is what the pick was. The Chiefs may look at that part of the draft in the 3rd and 4th round as that it's very interchangeable, and they may be able to get the same guy that they wanted to get at 144 that they would have at 95 anyways. Xavier Worthy, I don't know what he's going to be as a player. I did look at his stats at Texas. He had a 900-yard season his freshman year, 700-so-yard season his sophomore year. This last season he had 1,000 yards. Texas was really stacked this year. They had another very good wide receiver, Adonai Mitchell. Texas, he had to share the wealth a little bit around this season, so his numbers weren't eye-popping, but his yards per catch were really good, and obviously that 40-yard dash speed is really what the Chiefs, I think, are looking for with Xavier Worthy. So I don't know what Xavier Worthy is going to be as a player in the NFL. You really don't know with any of these guys. You have better ideas of certain guys. There's guys that are better prospects than others, but you really don't know what they're going to be until they make it in the NFL. But I will say this in regards to Xavier Worthy. I do feel very confident saying there is not another team in the NFL that would better be able to utilize his skill set. So if he's going to succeed anywhere in the NFL, it's going to be with Patrick Mahomes, with that rocket arm, obviously, and Andy Reid being able to scheme him open. this is really just the kind of wide receivers the Chiefs like to target, it seems like. I mean, we've kind of got a lot of data to go back and look at now. You go back to the McCole Hardman draft pick, obviously Tyreek Hill back in 2016. Sammy Watkins was a free agent signing, but they still liked him, obviously, because of his speed. The Chiefs like Kadarius Toney. They traded for him a couple years ago in the middle of the season because he is fast. So they like these kinds of receivers. I think Andy Reid feels like these kinds of receivers are the ones that he wants to get open in his offense. I don't think they're as interested in the guys that kind of go up and catch the ball, those contested catch type guys. It can be frustrating at times if you watch it because it feels like if guys can't get open, then you don't throw the ball to them. But a guy like Worthy is going to be able to stretch the field, and I think he's going to terrify defenses this season. And you already saw last year with Rashee Rice that the Chiefs can get production out of a rookie wide receiver. Patrick Mahomes can take a rookie wide receiver, a guy that was playing in college football a year ago, that was playing against Iowa State and Kansas State in the Big 12, and he can take him and just simply 12 months later can turn him into a productive, hopefully Super Bowl winning wide receiver. So very excited about the draft pick. It's very interesting to see how this year's draft first round played out. I am interested to see who the Chiefs go at with the second and third round, or now fourth round pick that they have. It's going to be exciting to see. I think that they will go offensive line probably, but I wouldn't be surprised if they went corner. I wouldn't be surprised if they went defensive lineman. But I think that you're probably going to see it be either corner or offensive tackle. So very excited to see what they go with. But for now, the Chiefs got themselves a speedster. They got themselves a burner. And I'm excited to see how he can play in the offense this season. That's all for tonight, everybody. Thanks a lot. Have a great night.